Are we live now?
I don't know. My chair, I feel like I'm super tall when I shouldn't be super tall today.
Oh, you can be super tall.
Well, a day at a time, but...
Oh, you're showing off the cup to the Facebook folks today.
Well, I'm trying to. I like the new logo, so, it's simple, but it's not really a logo. It's just my name in fancy letters.
No, I like it.
And I love how the designers with Polarity Design Team, plug, made it kind of like a brand, like a cattle brand. You could stamp that on a cow, minus the cursiveness,
Mm-hmm.
You could almost stamp that on a cow. I don't know if it's registered or not, but, the idea is cute.
We could brand someone for you if you like.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about this. If you ever get a brand made out of that, I'm not coming up anymore.
It's all about the creative, placement. You could brand just leather. You could brand jeans. You could, what else could we just, get a hot rod and, put up against wood?
We could brand our station vehicle.
We could brand the station vehicle.
The old one.
Idea.
Yeah, I like the way you think, Tim. I like it. Good morning, it's McKinnon Hansen with Wired Wednesday. I hope everybody is having a fantastic Wednesday, even though it is slightly smoky.
Slightly?
This
is LA, man.
Yeah, it really is. without the ocean.
Which...
Yeah.
So...
It really is LA. That's sad.
The other day, my wife thinks, she's sure that I'm crazy. We drove up to the aquatic center and I went up to the Lake of the Woods. She goes, what are you doing? I go, I just want to see water.
Right.
I want to see a lake. And I go, oh, we have one here in town now.
We do. And it is a great little spot.
It really is. We saw kids up there on the beach and they had the little... they're kind of like surfboards that you have paddles with.
Yeah, paddleboards.
Paddleboards. And I remember as a kid being on a paddle. We didn't have the canoe paddles with them. They were paddleboards, but you laid on them and used your hands to.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's a really good rec spot to go and spend time with those that you love.
Mm-hmm. And
I take my kids up there even after work and things. The temperatures are still hot enough and the water's cool enough that it's a good little before dinner getaway. A quick getaway. Good. And what I was very grateful for, in the last year, they went and paved all the way around it. And they paved it, the west parking lot, they paved. And so you can take the trail in. So if we wanted to take a quick bike ride, we could park in one parking lot and go around the lake a couple of times through the paved trail that they made. And I think eventually it's going to connect with all the other paved trails that are going in.
Okay.
And so we're becoming like St. George. Reece, how you doing from St. George?
Oh, really good. Thank you for having me.
We're getting a little close to that microphone there for good reason. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, we got to hear you, man. You have important things to say today.
Some days. What's today?
Tuesday.
Wednesday, yes. Definitely on Wednesday.
Welcome to Wednesday. And it's a short week, and, we're going into the work week, day 2. So we're basically on, I guess Wednesday.
Hence Wired Wednesday.
Yes, hence Wired Wednesday. So today I had so many good interactions over the Labor Day weekend with a lot of the community members over in Parowan, and being a part of the parade was an honor. I think it was one of Parowan's largest parades. I think over 70 floats or 70 numbers. That doesn't include all the things in between that number. Yeah. So we had 2 items and we were 59. We didn't leave the parade staging area until 11:10 and the parade started at 10.
Oh, wow.
An hour. We were in staging, not only to prep, but we waited to just get into the circumstance of it. An hour, which was incredible to me because I love parades. I'm glad that there was that much energy and that much attendance, for the parade. It was great. But it got me thinking. And it's kind of one of those things, I already have it, or I forgot to look at it, or I can wait time for it. But, there are things that happen every day to us that make me, as an insurance agent and as somebody that wants to protect this community to the best of my ability, is life insurance. And it really hits home with me because there's a few people in my life that over the last 18 months have experienced dramatic health changes that they couldn't foresee, into the future. And it now makes them uninsurable. And they are under 30, everybody. Like, these people are under
Wow.
30. They've had
Things like what then? I have to ask.
well, just they've had some major chronic illnesses. Well, not chronic, but like new chronic illnesses that just populated. So like diabetes is one of those. Cancer is one of those. There are people being sent home from callings that are experiencing headaches and illnesses that are leading to literally life-altering diseases and things that are going. And they're given, under 5 years to live.
Oh my gosh.
So, and these people are under 30, some of them are under 20. And so it really gets me thinking, like, what decisions do we need to make, as parents for our children, as young adults, newlyweds. I was talking to some newlyweds. They're like, well, isn't life insurance for old people?
No, not really.
So, and there's so many strategies and conversations around life insurance that I want to bring that up today. Not that I want to be that, bang on the door till it comes down life insurance agent, but I want people to have the awareness that products are available and getting them set up sooner is better.
We had, I don't know if I can find the story. We had a 32-year-old lady fell off her horse up in Parowan, actually.
Oh, really?
Dead now.
Yeah, as simple as that, an everyday thing that can end. There's been car accidents. In the last 60 days, there was that car accident on I-15. How many cars were involved? Like 15 or 20, right?
Yeah, there was quite a few.
And how many fatalities?
I think there were 6.
6 total fatalities. How many of those do you think had succession planning or life insurance or strategies for their families to not be financially burdened just with burial costs, right? I mean, granted, I'm going to be put in a tin can, but getting to the tin can is still going to cost money.
Are you going to get cremated?
Yep.
I'm actually contemplating that a lot.
Yep. I'm going to be put in a small coffee can up on the mountain under an aspen.
Oh, you're going to do the whole bucket list thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, dear to my heart, simplicity at its finest. But it goes back into those things, car accidents, catastrophic deaths. Reece, chime in here. I feel like I'm taking over the show.
Oh, I love it.
But
you're doing great.
It's those conversations that we need to have sooner because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We want tomorrow to be here.
But life is fleeting. It changes in a moment.
Right.
I was talking to Kenan on the way in, and we were talking. I had an appointment on Monday, and on the way out to my client's house, we were just needing to review their policies and make sure everything was in line. I got a phone call, probably about 10 minutes out from their house, and they told me I didn't need to come anymore. And the person I was talking to was really emotional and crying, and just like something happened I didn't know, and I got her to settle down a little bit, and I'm like, what's going on? And she had said that her neighbor, who she has been a part of her life for the last 25 years, passed in a car accident. And it was her neighbor and his wife, both were taken in that car accident. And as I'm coming in, I'm passing this car accident as it happened.
Oh, wow.
Like, life changes that quick that you lose someone that is such a part of your life, whether they're there and they help provide, for you in your life, or they're just a friend and there's that emotional connection and you missed your loved ones. You never know when that's going to happen. And we talked my client down. I said, look, I need to come out and take care of you and just make sure you're okay and just kind of stick around for emotional support during that time frame. But it brings up a lot of questions when that happens. Like, do you have your planning in order? Are you ready? Or what is that plan going to look like? For some folks, it looks like if they don't have any kind of plan in place, that they're going to just purely rely on their siblings, their parents, to take care of their family and kids if they're left behind, or their spouse is left behind. And I've always thought that's kind of unfair because they didn't really get a choice in the matter. They didn't have time to prepare. They didn't have time to set aside the financial means that it would take to take care of those extra kids or that spouse and everything else, or you plan for it through life insurance. And I don't know if you you realize, but this is National Life Insurance Month awareness.
We are in September.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it is National Life Insurance Awareness Month.
Yeah.
Thank
Funny
you.
that you weren't aware of that, but
Well, no, like I'm just like going through the motions, la-di-da. But really, September is really important industry wide, and there's a lot of products out there that even have accelerated underwriting. You can get quick approved, pending other qualifications, of course, but there's quick approval process. There's specials sometimes with different companies. It really just it highlights that.
For those that don't have a lot of medical history or past issues that are going to drive into decisions that are made in life insurance, like DUIs or making poor decisions, all those affect how life
Yes.
insurance comes around. You can even get away. I have so many clients that are just afraid of getting their blood drawn. The needle scares them, right? They don't want that part. And if you're healthy, there's a certain amount of life insurance that you can get without having to go through that process, as long as all your medical records come back clean.
Right, yeah. I mean, and there's a whole process to it, but it's starting those conversations. It's starting those succession plannings. And for me, like I have and we've talked about my life insurance personally. I have a specific volume that'll pay off my house debt and give my husband a little bit.
Volume? What do you mean by volume?
Like my total death benefit.
Okay, so the amount that your family's going to receive
Yes.
on your passing.
And it's tax free. Did you know life insurance is tax free?
Yeah, it's one of the great benefits of it.
It's a huge benefit of it.
I did not know that, actually.
Right. It's 100% tax free to the beneficiary. Now, once the beneficiary has those funds, it is a taxable event if they want to give somebody enough money for, a Camaro or, a new vehicle.
To someone else.
Someone else. But I'm not an accountant. I'm not a tax, authority by any means. But it's a tax-free event to the beneficiary. And so my husband will receive those funds. And
so those funds that he'll receive, since you've talked about your life insurance before,
Yes.
what are they designed for? Is that going to replace the portion of income that you provide your family? Is it to pay off your debt? Is it to pay for college, a mission? What is it for?
So
For you?
the
Or is
way
that
we
too
said
personal?
no, I love those questions, Reece, because it's enough to pay off my house and it's enough to put a little bit in the bank. It's not enough to replace my income, which is probably a fault, and it's not enough to send him around the world 5 times.
You don't want to send her to Vegas to go have fun?
You don't
Well-
love your husband then.
Wow.
Well, I need
No
to
shopping
be
sprees?
I need to be better at this. But in the instance of our children, I've started plans for them to pay for their own college.
Mhm.
For them to be able to leverage their own life insurance policy to put their first payment down on their house when, because housing market's crazy. Who knows what house prices are going to be when they're of age. But I've put in life insurance plans on themselves that I'm funding, that I'm paying for, that they'll be able to leverage to pay for college or pay for their first car or pay for their down payment on their first home.
Yeah, me and Michelle have done the same thing for all of our kids. And we kind of think of it, I know a lot of people are always concerned with college funding.
Yes.
And how that comes about. There's 529K plans that you can take advantage of. Through life insurance, the advantage there is that if your kid decides to go to a trade school or doesn't decide to go to school at all, decides to start a business, that money's still available without penalty. That's kind of the big downside to 529K plans.
Right.
If they're not used specifically for college, they then have to be passed on to a sibling or someone related directly to them to use it for that specific nature. Unless they pull out, they can be penalized up to like 50%. So that's
Right,
good
and
forethought.
50% of what you put away, what you were anticipating them to use for college, is a huge cut.
Yeah.
And there's life insurance plans out there that are getting better interest rates than savings accounts.
Yeah.
And there's annuity plans out there that get better interest than savings accounts. There's so many strategies to help you plan for tomorrow, today, that you need to reach out. You need to be call me, call Reece.
A lot of people are just really, they don't know where to start. They see commercials, they hear Dave Ramsey, they get all this outside advice, but locally they don't know what the process looks like and how long it takes and what they have to go through. Can you walk me through what that would look like if I didn't have life insurance and I needed to get started today? How do I do it? How do I go about it?
First off, you call us, Farm Bureau Financial, McKinnon Hansen, 435-592-2021, and we set up an appointment. At that appointment, we're going to go through what's called a personal needs assessment. And that is going to be very rough bones of how much do you owe on your house? How much do you owe on your vehicles? How much, if you did not come home today, what needs to be paid off or what income needs to be supported so that your family does not change at all? Other than you not showing up, your family structure, the income coming in, the different things going on in their world is not altered at all. What needs to happen financially? And we write that down on a sheet and we come up with a total figure that is specific to your need.
Right.
And that's what really planning for life insurance is it's specific to individuals' needs and to households' needs. You know, so what if two parents didn't show up? Right? So
Yeah.
if they were
That's
on a
scary.
date night and they had 4 children at home, what's going to happen to the children?
Well, and how old are those kids?
And how old are they? And what's going to happen? And you need to at least have these conversations, you know, with you and your spouse because, you know, and I love talking with spouses and I love having the kids in my office running around because there's no time like the present to plan for the future.
Well, so on an idea, you know, we're all worried. Everybody's budget conscious. I always say that budget is key. You know, you're putting aside for saving, you're putting aside for college, you're paying your bills, taking care of your house. You know, adding one thing on top of that, I mean, generally seems like, oh, it's more than I wanted, or more than I can afford to, or more than I'm willing to. Are these plans expensive? What do they look like?
You know, they're relatively cheap for what for the different plans that I put in place for clients. They can range from $1 a day to $100 a day. It is specific to you and to your living situation and really what's important to you, because at the end of the day, if we don't need to set aside money for college through this life insurance plan, then we don't need to. But at least we need to replace your income and or pay off the house. Those are the two primary things, primary drivers for the volume or for the amount of life insurance that your beneficiary needs, because we don't want their lives to be altered. We don't want to have them worry about the money side of things. We want them to go through life without having to worry about the money, at least in the short term. And short term is relative to the situation.
I've often thought about this. I have a daughter that she's has special needs, right? And we don't know how long her lifespan's going to be. It's kind of a big question, something out there. And we have enough money on her or life insurance on Addie to make sure that, you know, when she passes, she'll be put in the ground and everything will be okay. We actually got more, not for the sense that we need more money at that point in time from her passing or anything like that, but what you don't realize is, like, when you have a child pass, parents aren't supposed to outlive their kids ever. That's just the most horrible thing ever.
Right.
But the ability to take a pause in life, to collect yourself, to reflect on
To grieve.
what was lost, like to grieve. Yeah, exactly. And everybody's time frame is different, but if you had the ability to take a year's worth of income and set it aside so you could really
Go through that process,
yeah,
you know,
and not financially be ruined from it is important. And that's something that we did with her. I actually insured all my kids from within them being 6 months old. They've all had a life insurance policy. We didn't know that she had special needs when she was 6 months old.
Right.
And we did the same policy for each of our kids. We come to find out that now she's probably uninsurable because they call her pretty much a unicorn. They can't diagnose exactly what she has, even though it's somewhere on the spectrum.
right.
So there's a lot of unknowns, which for life insurance, we don't like unknowns. We want to, you know, everything's
Plan,
actuarial.
actuaries.
And we know when people are probably going to die based on mortality tables. But for her, if I tried to get a life insurance policy today, I couldn't. And when I got that original life insurance policy, I had this forethought to get repurchase options will let me almost triple the amount of life insurance I have on her today if she lives to be 40 or 45, which she
Right,
more than
right.
likely
With
won't.
all the unknowns,
But-
you know.
Yeah.
And it's incredible because what we specialize with it in my agency and with Reece being a part of my agency, we specialize in showing up for our clients and showing up for their needs and what that really looks like, because we want to make sure you're taken care of. We want to make sure and go through that process with you. We show up for our clients to just be with our clients.
Well, and I think part of the key there is we have a set list of questions that we ask, that we also kind of segue from, that most people don't take into account when they're thinking about all the planning that they need to do. So sometimes it's stirring that conversation for others to understand what the larger need is versus, hey, I just need 10, 15, 25,000 to cover funeral expenses.
Right.
And that's where our expertise really comes in, is that we've had our own circumstances that we've gone through, but we've also met with hundreds, maybe even thousands of clients over the years to understand their greater needs, to make sure we're asking all the right questions so you're prepared the way you need to be.
So with all of that, it's really important that you give us a call. This is McKinnon Hansen, 435-592-2021. Thank you for tuning in to Wired Wednesday on KSUB 590.
Not even with this thought here. When's the best time to plant a tree?
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years.
When's the second best time to plant a tree?
Today.
Exactly right.
Give us a call, please. If anything, let's explore your options. Let's make sure you are an educated consumer, not just going out there like, I don't need this, I don't want it. We need to make sure you're educated, and I want you to move forward into tomorrow knowing that you have thought about what happened.
592-2021.
Yes,
For
this has been
everything.
McKinnon Hansen with Wired Wednesday. Thank you so much.
And